Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you.
I'm Kavita Mehta. I'm an MBA graduate of Stanford University. Today we're just going to have a 30-minute interview. It's going to be more a conversation.
Great.
But because I don't know anything about you except what you've just given me here on your resume, I want to start off just the general, tell me about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you come from, and what you do for a living.
Absolutely. I'm what you call a typical third culture kid. I moved around a ton. We moved around by following my mom's job. She's one of my biggest heroes because she started working in investment banking in the 1990s. We followed her to Malaysia. And my dad is also one of my biggest heroes because he pivoted being an investigative journalist into an author, and he's really taught me how to open my eyes to different situations wherever I've gone. So my family has always been incredibly supportive. It's just the three of us. We're super close-knit. And when I told my mom that I wanted to go into developmental finance and I wanted to go into microfinance and make the world a better place with banking, she urged me to think about finance through different lenses, and it's through her urging that I went back to India for college, and I went to Delhi University and studied economics, so finance through a kind of academic lens, and now I'm working in investment banking and really feel like I'm finally ready to make the switch to what I've always wanted to do. So I'm at Goldman Sachs, which I've been really happy there, and it's really through my parents' urging that I've tried all these different things, and also through my own sense of curiosity about the world.
Great. So it sounds like you're pretty comfortable doing a lot of different things.
I've tried to be.
Different places in the world.
Yeah.
So that leads me to actually my next question, which is what actually makes you feel uncomfortable?
Well, I think the thing that makes me most uncomfortable is my status as an NRI. NRI technically means non-resident Indian, but for me in my life it's always meant kind of not really Indian. Growing up, we moved first to Malaysia and then in all these different countries where there were lots of different Indian groups, but I've always sort of questioned my sense of Indian identity and felt kind of dislocated from being Indian the way that I understood it from other people. We didn't grow up in a large, close-knit joint family. My parents aren't religious. We don't practice Hindu rituals. I've never actually done a big Diwali. The only big Indian weddings I've been to have been friends. Never a family wedding. So I was initially really confused about what it meant to be Indian. And part of what motivated me to go back to India for college was a sense that I wanted to become more Indian. So when I got to Delhi University, I felt this sense of cultural disconnect from my peers, and I tried to immerse myself in every possible Indian thing. I got obsessed with 90s Bollywood movies, and I went to every sort of neighborhood in Delhi and explored the city and ate every piece of Indian food and really tried to get a sense of what it mean for me to be Indian. And it wasn't until I recognized that I could create my own idea of that, and it didn't have to be defined by a collective, that I started to become a little bit more comfortable with my sense of self. But it still rears its head. Anytime I'm entering new groups, when I'm entering new companies, I work so hard to adapt to the company culture that I always have to be checking back in at what am I personally, individually, and what's my identity beyond that.
Well, it's interesting insights that you've provided. You just talked about groups and other organizations. That leads me to my next question, which is, tell me about a time that you faced a challenge in a team setting.
Okay, this actually happened pretty recently, so it's kind of fresh in my mind. I've been working at Goldman Sachs for a couple of years now, and with an eye towards getting into a kind of a different space, getting into development finance, I've taken on some positions in different kinds of groups that had a little bit of a different structure. And one of them is this organization, Room to Read. It's an NGO that sets up libraries in different countries. I'm on the Young Professionals Committee, and about a year ago, we were planning a 6-month out launch for a new library in Cambodia. And we were raising money, we were sort of developing the plan, and the head of our committee broke his leg unexpectedly.
Wow, how did you do that?
He was in a motorcycle accident.
Sounds okay. Sounds gruesome.
He's okay, he's totally fine, the rehab has been great, but he broke it in several places, so he was out of commission for 4 months. And we all thought we were sort of equally dividing the work, but it turns out he was doing the lion's share. Because when he left, all of these balls started dropping. And we had a couple of different corporations set up to back us as part of our fundraising campaign. And we didn't even realize how they'd been wanting progress reports, and the organization threatened to pull out because we hadn't been sending progress reports. I mean, it was just lack of communication and really non-awareness of what it took to make this launch. And some of my committee members felt like this was going to be too difficult and we should just cancel the launch of the library. But I felt that that was a huge betrayal to what the company stood for and what we all wanted, why we'd all gotten into it in the first place. So we decided to have an emergency meeting and create a new sort of emergency, like all hands on deck plan. And one of the big things that came out of that was we all decided to take a little bit of time off work, just a couple days here and there that overlapped, so that we could really be working and solely focused on this plan. And the library successfully launched.
Oh, wow.
And it's been really successful, and our head of committee's back, thank goodness, and he's okay, and we're moving forward, which has been great.
Okay, that sounds great. Well, I'm
Thanks.
glad that ended up okay, and his leg is repaired. Anyway, best of luck in this process as you apply this.
Thank you so much.